Good morning. What's going on? It's not the recap lunch hour with Ryan McGuffey. It's breaking news with Ryan McGuffey here on the recap. Bears have fired offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. It's like barely breaking news to me because it's something that we thought was definitely going to happen as we watched that debacle on Sunday against the New England Patriots. The Bears losing 19-3. A lot of blame throughout the game, the boos throughout the game. This is not just a one game thing, as we know. They've scored 27 points since the bye. They haven't scored a touchdown since the fourth quarter of the Washington Commanders game. And now, as this thing continues to plummet downhill, there's finally a change. There's finally a change. After the 24 to 48 hour process that Coach Matt Eberflus said he had to go through to get to this point, the Bears this morning have made the decision to move on from Shane Waldron. There is a statement as well. Thomas Brown, the former offensive coordinator of the Carolina Panthers for one season with Bryce Young, will take over play calling duties. The only positive to that really is that he's done the job before, but it didn't go well with Bryce Young, obviously, in year one, as he looked lost and eventually was benched. A lot of people asking, what about Eberflus? Well, that's a good question. I mean, the guy's fired 5 offensive coaches in the last calendar year. I don't know how many coaches have had that kind of rope in order to continue to keep their job. So what happens with Matt Eberflus? That's tabled for now, as Shane Waldron is out as Bears OC. There is a statement here that I'm digging up from Matt Eberflus. Let's see here. Matt Eberflus is a very basic, we thank him for his time and it's time to move on. What are your thoughts as we have a coaching change through 9 games? Not ideal. Okay. Not ideal. Dave, this will be the move that takes us to the glory land. Yeah, it's not an ideal situation to be celebrating a firing through 9 games, and after 4-2 start, heading into the bye, trending upwards, averaging over 30 points a game heading into the bye, completely flatlined since. Basically, the Hail Mary kind of changed everything. This is the statement from Matt Eberflus. After evaluating our entire operation, I decided that it is in the best interest of our team to move in a different direction with the leadership of our offense. This decision was well thought out, one that was conducted deliberately and respectfully. I would like to thank Shane for his efforts and wish him the best moving forward. As far as where the Bears are now with Thomas Brown, Thomas is a bright offensive mind who has experience calling plays with a collaborative mindset. I look forward to his leadership over our coaching staff and his plan for our players. Okay, well, look, there's all kinds of stuff going on. There's reports this morning, not just from Mark Silverman of ESPN 1000. There's been a couple out here that say our veteran players are asking for the Bears to bench Caleb Williams in favor of Tyson Bagent. There's a lot of stuff going on here, folks. There's a lot of stuff going on. Because if that's the case, that tells me you got a 2-pronged problem. You have a coach that wasn't resonating. You have a quarterback that might not be wanting to listen to the message. We saw the body language in the fourth quarter on Sunday against the Patriots. I mean, you have veteran players. Yeah, Dave, wow. Wow's right. Like, how did we get here so quick? Rob, Flus is next. No way he gets to choose another OC. There's no doubt. Like, to me, writing on the wall, you don't just get to continue to pick offensive coordinators. You just don't get 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years. That's where we are with the Chicago Bears. Not even 3 full years. We're on 3 offensive coordinators under the Matt Eberflus era. In terms of Thomas Brown, what are the Bears getting in Thomas Brown? Well, they're getting a guy that, didn't really impress all that much. But I'm all in for the change of voice. We've seen enough from Shane Waldron going back to the Indianapolis game, that brutal 4th and 1 play call. Some of the play calling on Sunday, the play call with Kramer getting the handoff, on 4th down at the goal line. Come on. Or not 4th down, but 1st and goal at the goal line after not moving the ball. There's just so many examples of not reading the room and not feeling the flow of a game that led to Shane Waldron getting ousted. Dave, I knew there was something weird about DJ Moore's attitude. There's a lot of DJ Moore has certainly been the guy that everyone's pointing to. He's frustrated. Look at his first catch in the third quarter on Sunday. When he got up, he was letting out some frustration. You know, I get that. I get when a player's built up that he just no problem. I think there's more being made of what's going on with DJ Moore's attitude. Maybe he's here for the long haul, though, folks. So is Caleb. Michael, how will this be fixed with such a disaster on the O-line? It's a fair question. You know, some people think, is it rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic? I mean, if I've been asking for desperation the entire time. If my job's on the line, okay, if my job with Cap was on the line, I would be doing everything I could to make sure that I would at least go down swinging. You know what I'm saying? Nelson, firing OC is the easiest way. Anyone in that building doesn't have the cojones to make difficult decisions. In this case, it was easy firing Flus. I mean, Flus says this decision was totally his call. I think there's been a lot of player input up there lately. A lot of players saying stuff publicly, a lot of players saying stuff privately. Paul, they got rid of Herbert. He was a train compared to the backup. Bajan is a good quarterback. Herbert was a 6th-round pick that wasn't playing. That's an easy. Bajan, is this going to be interesting? Corey, I don't expect the Bears to do a complete 360, but some level of competency would be nice to see. Maybe a better working relationship with our young QB. Definitely agree. There needs to be more cohesiveness between the OC and the quarterback. Grover, give Bajan a chance. I mean, look at what we're asking here for, folks. Manuel, the head coach has to go end of the season. 2 OCs, a defensive OC it's on the head coach. I think that's more than fair. Blue, bear down from Fresno. Good to see you, Big Blue Dan. Appreciate you hopping on, Jack. If I hear more about this great culture, I'm going to puke. No. Jack, great point. There's no great culture. There is no culture. That's why we're here. There's no flipping culture. The culture's bad. The culture's being run through the players, not the leadership. Leadership is showing itself right now. Leadership is showing itself in an awful way. I've always said good and bad leadership rolls downhill, and we're seeing it. Sean, when does Eberflus get fired if this doesn't turn around? Look, they have the toughest schedule remaining in the NFL. I think Matt is gone at the end of the year. By far. Unless they do some miraculous turnaround here. Paul, Da Bears from Kentucky. What up, Paul? Robert, Sylvie's report of vets asking for Bajan over Williams is unreal. How bad is that building? Here's my interpretation of the Bajan over Williams. I think it's more about has Caleb tuned out coaching? And if he has, and there's veterans in the room that think that's the case, maybe there's some truth or belief that a benching could serve him right. Here's the problem with that, I think. If you don't have great leadership, benching a guy could be tough. If you don't have great leadership at the top that's saying, Caleb, you're going to sit and watch, you're giving nothing, you're the number one pick, we believe in you, this is for your own doing. The problem is if you bench him and turn him into Bryce Young, we're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And we don't want that. And that's what I'm worried about. Blue Dan, he gone. Dustin, fire an unproven OC, hire an unproven OC, fire him, and now you appoint the former Panthers OC to be your OC. Eberflus has no idea how to pick his staff. Well, I don't blame you, man. You know, I hear where you're going here. I totally got it. Bears to the Super Bowl now. Josh, man, could you only imagine? Michael, does anyone think Bajan wants to play in this crap? Of course he does. Come on, guys. The backup quarterback want to play 1,000%. Sean should have hired Cliff Kingsbury. There's a reason they didn't, guys. There's a reason they didn't. And he won't even comment on it. Gary, culture of losing, no doubt. Jake, Caleb is a bust. We're not going there. I'm not going there yet. I can't. It's 9 games. With an offense that's broken, with a leadership staff that's broken, it's not good. Eric, what up, Guff? What's up, Eric? Sean, Daniel Jones may be benched. He should be. This is a different situation. He's he's got paid too, so he's got Eberflus, he gone, says Eric. Yeah, guys, At least there's some kind of accountability up there. At least something had to happen. An axe had to fall on someone. Like, you can't keep right definition of insanity, repeating the same mistake over and over and over and over again. And that's what's happening with the Chicago Bears. We're repeating the same mistake over and over and over again. Chris says the Bears end up 5-12. You know what's funny? Maybe it's not funny. It's a sick joke. It's on the table. I went the tankathon after the game on Sunday because for the first time all year, I was like, holy hell, the Bears might be playing themselves right back into the top 10 here. Fat Bank, does Eberflus survive? The only way he survives, in my opinion, is if they go like 7-1, 6-2. Do we see that happening? They have the toughest schedule, 640 winning percentage of the teams left. They're playing each team in the division twice. You either rally around each other and a new play caller this weekend against the Packers, or it could get ugly, and we don't want that. Robert, rewind to the offseason how proud and boasting the Bears were of their process, which led to Waldron. He of the same agency as Poles and Eberflus. It's laughable. A lot of people are talking about the Trace Armstrong relationship, the agent having the same, representing everyone in the front office. Sean, way too early to call him a bust. Totally agree. Letting him sit a few games isn't the end of the world. Sean, I agree with you, man. Plus, we'll see what kind of, if that were to happen, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm kind of 50-50. I'm kind of 50-50. But I agree with you. Letting him sit a few games could be what the doctor ordered. I get worried about what could happen, like the fall off that could happen if it goes the other way. Nicholas, maybe they need to huddle to prevent defense from knowing when they hike the ball. Defense knows too much. Bear down. The defense is tired, right? They've been on the field a ton. Sean, why would some of the vets want Bajan over Williams? If they're thinking a rookie has been handed the keys to the kingdom and is not putting the work in to earn the keys, then here we are. So you got a lot of vets in that building that kind of know, that have been around young quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks, star quarterbacks. Maybe they're looking for a spark too. Maybe that's what they're thinking. This guy's here for the long haul. We want the best for him. Sit him down, let him take a 30,000-foot view of the thing before he gets back under center and appreciates it. I don't know. I'm speculating there. I've talked to a few guys. There's a little bit of that belief. Michael, almost think with Hard Knocks and Caleb throwing dimes, the staff arrogantly thought he was the savior. Big difference between patient or practice and squad games when you can't be sacked. Yeah. Look, there's also a message being delivered that we're having a great week of practice. And then the players are saying this week, you had multiple players, Jalen Johnson, DJ Moore, yesterday saying it's not great during the week. There's not guys, everyone's not pulling from the same rope. Practice is it's not going well. So there's a disconnect there from what leadership is saying and what the players are saying. Who would you rather have, Grafal or Eberflus? It's funny. Eric, this is hilarious. I was calling Pedro Eberflus for a while and Matt Grafal because I thought they were very similar. They were kind of similar to being the same exact person. So I like that message. Michael, should Poles be on the hot seat? I think this doesn't help his case. I don't think he's going anywhere, but he's hired one head coach, so he would get another shot here. The offensive line, we all have blind spots. I say that a lot. But when you're in that chair, your blind spots need to be fixed. And that's something that I would certainly look at and certainly talk to Matt about. Not Matt, but Ryan. Corey, benching Caleb would do two things. Show us if he could deal with adversity and come back stronger. It would show us if Bajan can do better. Corey, I think that's spot on, man. I am not in the bench Caleb Williams. I can't believe we're sitting here talking about benching Caleb Williams. But I'm looking, to me, I said this yesterday with Cap, everything's about number 18. Every single thing is about 18. So if in the best interest of the long haul is to bench him for a couple of weeks because you don't think you can get to the playoffs this year, which I don't think any of us think that can happen, then everything's about the future of number 18. For Corey, I think you learn a lot about Caleb if you do bench him in terms of dealing with adversity. Fat. Will Poles hire a meat and potatoes guy like Mike Vrabel? There's a report yesterday that the Bears aren't going to hire a personality bigger than the brand. Well, Mike Vrabel might be that guy, and that's a concern. If you want vanilla ice cream at the freezer, do you shop for the Kroger brand that's generic because it's $3, or do you go up to like the vanilla bean organic, like Tillamook or whatever, $8 for a quart? The vanilla flavor, it's like that big $5 bucket that you just buy for a birthday party. That's what the Bears have been shopping at. Dustin, if the Patriots got to Williams 9 times, Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit are going to get him killed. Tough for anybody to disagree with that. Swayze, not good enough. Eberflus and Poles need to be gone too. Eberflus because he's terrible as a head coach. Poles because he hired Flus, passed on Harbaugh, and built this team ass backwards. So, I've been wondering lately, has Ryan been able, does Ryan want to fire Flus? If he does and he can't, because the leadership's telling him not to, well, then you got another GM in Chicago with his arm tied behind his back. If he doesn't feel that way, then maybe, yeah, he's not fit for the position. Mark, Flus gone after the season. Bears won't fire him during the season. Well, I think we're seeing more and more proof of that. Eberflus trying to save his ass, probably won't win another game. What up, Mo? Yeah, at least there's some kind of effort to trying to show, that you're trying to save yourself. Again, I'm a big, be desperate. Rob, we've seen Caleb have success. He's a 9-game rookie. It's immature to say he's a bust at this point. I completely agree, Rob. I completely agree. Christian, how are fans so enamored with Bagent? You don't buy a new car and still take the bus. Christian, this is Chicago. Since 1985, we've cared about the backup quarterback could run for mayor in this town and win every single time. The backup quarterback has been the most popular quarterback in Chicago for 40 years, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we're still sitting here thinking the backup quarterback might be a better option. It's disgusting. King Pookie, the clown's still there. Matt, Chesterfield, tiny bandage on a gaping wound. Really well said. Tough to disagree. Christian, only reason Pole's seat is hot because Warren came in after. This is a fair point too. Okay. There's a lot of speculation that the Bears would fire an in-season head coach because it's a new leadership. That's new leadership. But then I see the report yesterday saying they're not going to hire somebody bigger than the brand. So I don't know. Is this just like rearranging pawns? I don't know. Grover, I'm just looking forward to a better O-line draft haul next year. I mean, literally every pick should be an offensive lineman. If you have 6 picks, literally all 6 should be offensive linemen. My guy knows his store brand ice cream. You guys know what I'm talking about. That big old plastic thing with a handle. It's like you got 40 kids coming to a birthday party. Just scoop and serve. They don't care. It doesn't need to be vanilla bean. Justin, why did it take 24 hours to hit? Hey, like Cap said yesterday, right eye, left eye. That's my tape I needed to see after that game. There's nothing more I needed to see. That game went final. I'm having meetings after the game Sunday night. Decisions made. Kim, I hope I'm not dreaming and this really happened. Kim, glad you joined us. Shane Waldron is out. I'll show you. Here, I'll go back to this. There it is. Thomas Brown's promoted. Shane Waldron's out. Okay? So there you go. Leroy, so tired of the generic BS every single week. Same words salad politicians use when they don't give an answer. Amen, man. Christian Trace Armstrong, exactly. Daniel, play Bagent. We don't want Caleb hurt. That's a valid point too. Maybe that's the way to go. Maybe the way to go is you're worried about Caleb's health. It's ridiculous. BF, 57 years of Bears football. From Abe Gibran to Flus. Maybe I said 40 years of wishing the backup, but you know what? To BF's point, man, it's been 57 years of love of the backup quarterback. Big Mac, I'd rather have Shoop as offensive coordinator. I brought that up yesterday. I'm going to pull up a tweet here too. I'm going to pull up a tweet from the Hall of Famer, Dan Pompei. Dan Pompei said this morning. It's funny and disgusting at the same time. So if the Bears decide to make an in-season change at OC, which they did, here are some coaches with coordinated experience who have not currently with teams. Luke Getsy, Mark Helfrich, Adam Gase, Mike Tice, Mike Martz, Ron Turner, Terry Shea, John Shoup, Gary Croton, and Matt Kavanaugh. Is there a trend here? Wayne, are you telling me Flus didn't see the flaws of his OC? We fired the wrong guy. I think they both could be gone. Usama could clearly see Caleb and the rest of the offense had lost confidence. Yeah, I thought you saw that on the bench on Sunday, no doubt. Christian, what's the brand? Clinging to a Super Bowl from 85. Pathetic. Agreed. I love the 85 Bears as much as everybody. I was a kid. That's where I got my stripes with this team. I'm sick of seeing them. I'm sick of them representing the brand. Like, you're talking about generations of Bears fans now. You know, I have a couple generations in my house that have no clue about the 85 Bears except when I show them Walter Payton highlights. Swayze, Bears will be in the running for the #1 pick. Could you imagine? Caleb reminds me of Manziel, and that ain't good. I'm not going there. He's not the wild man that Manziel was off the field, but I think I see where you're going there. Bears, Packers went from 6.5 last night to 5.5 this morning. Vegas thinks it's a positive. I do think it's a positive. I hate to say this. I'd lay the points. Nash, first play has to be play action on Sunday, right? No, I run the flipping ball under center. Stop being cute. I see where you're thinking, Nash, but like this team needs to go back to the basics. Simplify. You know, almost like Tecmo Bowl back in the day. 4 pass plays, 4 run plays, and beat that team's ass. For those who love Tecmo Bowl. Football 101 is to be strong in the trenches, offensive and defense. Yep. Look at the Super Bowl teams, man. It's always built up front. Look at the Detroit Lions. They've built their entire team in the trenches. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. Deck chairs on the Titanic. Fire Eberflus, says Kurt. Christian, you don't play football playing scared of getting hurt. I agree with that, but this is about protecting your asset going forward. If you have guys like me on the basically it's a bunch of us playing offensive line right now. Big Mike, Big Mick. It's Big Mike, LOL. Oh, my bad. Okay. Look at the spelling, man. Kurt, clean sweep. Kim says, thank you. You're welcome, Kim. Green Bay will wipe the field. It doesn't feel great. They certainly have much better coaching. Half of them belong to the Bears. Mark, only reason to sit Williams is to keep him from being killed. Yep. Why does Flus have a job? Fair. Williams is not a bust. He's a young player. Every good quarterback sat behind a vet. I see where you're going. Maybe they gave him the keys too early, guys, right? At least with Gary Croton, we had the #1 offense at some point. Fair. Leroy, we're bringing in Thomas Brown, the guy who led the Panthers, to the number 32 offense. This will be a long 7 games. Let's 8. Okay, got that one on. Agree. Michael, one bright spot is we are trending to another high draft pick. I don't love that. I feel like instead of Rome, we should have a good line. I love Rome, but man, 7 offensive linemen were picked after him. Seeing that no difference between him and Fields. Yeah. Let's start. I mean, look at this, guys. Like, I'm just blowing through these here. I mean, you know, like, can we start running with Roshan more? Mark, do you think Green Bay carrying more weight than any other team to the people upstairs? If we get smoked bad enough, I do think it's in play, Mark. There's that mini bye after Thanksgiving. So if they get smoked by Green Bay at home and then smoked by the Lions on Thanksgiving, it could be ugly for Flus. You know, I do expect a spark. I do expect some veterans to, at some point, the players need to step up too. So there's kind of a combination here. If you're going to change something right away, a little more mixture of Roshan and Swift. Built the team backwards. I see where you're going, man. You drafted a punter in the 4th round, you know? I mean, look at what we're doing here. I'm not going to judge Brown on his experience with Carolina. They had no weapons. You got to judge. You judge a man on what he has, right? Like he had a tough year last year with the #1 pick overall. They did not have a lot of good leadership either. But, you know, the guy, they sat the #1 pick at some point. They sat the #1 pick at some point. So, you know, we got tons coming today on the channel. You know, usually I do the recap lunch hour. We'll be taping with Kevin Byard later at Hallis Hall. So I'm sure we'll have that up on the channel. Intercepted. He'll have a teammate. This will be a topic, even though he plays defense. Tonight we have Feltco Football Recap Live with Cap, Olin Kreutz, and Tommy Waddle. And, you know, those guys are the best. And they are going to have a field day with this. A field day. Trust me, I've already been on the text chain. Okay. These guys are going to have a blast with this. So make sure 8 p.m. tonight, we're going live with Feldco Football Recap Live. Cap, Olin Kreutz, Tommy Waddle. The Bears have fired. For those just joining, if you are, the Bears have fired Shane Waldron. Thomas Brown, the former offensive coordinator of the Carolina Panthers, has been promoted. So a lot of stuff happening with the Bears. Comments are still pouring in. We need a Rex Ryan. Can we get like whoever the up and coming Dan Campbell is, please? Right? Like, give me that guy. Swayze, thanks for taking time. Absolute. Hey, I'm here for you guys, man. Like this is like therapy, right? Like we don't have to worry about insurance or co-pays. We got each other. Okay. That's what this is. Slick, Vrabel, Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator. Vrabel worked with our D coordinator. A lot of Vrabel. Cap loves Vrabel. I love Vrabel. I just don't know. Like, give me old school accountability, man. A guy who's going to ream your ass and pat you on the butt at the same time. Like, stop with this, like, letting the inmates run the asylum stuff. You know, like, secretaries predict going back. I want to see the receipt, secretary. Whoever drafted Caleb would get a lot of people fired. Waldron, Flus, Poles, whoever is the next coach they get. Easy to be in this situation now to say all that. We have the D. We do. Fire Flus, says Dave. Let that chicken loose. Erica, I bet Cap, Tom, and Olin have a strong mobile connection. That is awesome, Erica. What a great Cap, the obviously viral moment yesterday on ESPN 1000 of Eberflus's phone dropping out and him saying his phone is as bad as the offense. Brian Flores, I think, is in the conversation, Captain. You know, I do. I think it's like getting back into the game at a high level. Some of the past with Tua, you know, I don't think the Bears, like, there's people asking about John Gruden yesterday. I don't think that situation is going to happen. You're not going to have somebody with red tape all over them take over this job despite who they are. Evan, definition of insanity. I mentioned that earlier. I totally agree. It starts at the top, man. No one's talking about Ben Johnson. I think everyone is. But Ben Johnson, according to Adam Schefter, is going to be very deliberate in terms of taking interviews in the offseason. He doesn't want teams that have organizational dysfunction. That was what he said. So what do you think the Bears have right now? I don't even know if Ben Johnson, after a year of looking at the Bears, I don't even know if he takes an interview. Good point. Like, I think the Flores situation is worth monitoring. I'll say that. No presser today. Today's an off day at Hallis Hall. Okay. Shouldn't have deleted that account. Well, I said save the receipts, man. I said save the receipt. If we pick in the top 5 after 3, that's a massive indictment. I totally agree. Because unlike baseball, the NFL does not need a 3 to 5 year plan for a rebuild. Look at the Houston Texans. If you get it right in the draft, obviously the quarterback too, you could turn it around like that. They had why am I blanking? They got the quarterback right, and they got Will Anderson, the defensive right, on the edge rusher. CJ Stroud, Jesus, thank you. See, John, this is not happening, man. John Gruden won't be the next Bears head coach. Do a little background check on him. It ain't going to happen. Ben Johnson, I don't think, guys, there's 32 of these jobs. He'll go wherever it happens. He'll go in the same division. Who knows the division better than a guy in the division? Frank Reich. I think Ron Rivera's time is done. I mean, look what we're doing, man. This sucks, right? This sucks. Dave says his phone doesn't work, so there'll be no press conference. Do we extend Tevin Jenkins? I don't think so right now. I know they don't have linemen, but he can't stay on the field for a half. So, anyways, folks, a lot of stuff. The Bears fire Shane Waldron. Thomas Brown is promoted. I see emojis of like, love, and pissed. That pretty much sums up how we feel about what's going on up north. Okay? That's what's going on. Again, reminder tonight, Felco Football Recap Live with Cap, Olin Kreutz, and Tom Waddle, 8 p.m. right here on the channel. It will be live at 8. From 8 to 9, we will break down the loss to the New England Patriots, the firing of Shane Waldron as offensive coordinator, the promotion of Thomas Brown, and where the hell the Bears go from here as they prepare for the biggest rival that they have, the Green Bay Packers. It used to be a season was complete if we just beat the Packers. Well, it certainly would feel a hell of a lot better if they could, but they are going upstream right now without much paddle. and it doesn't look good. I appreciate you guys for hopping on the breaking news that Shane Waldron is out as Bears offensive coordinator. I'll be back later on the lunch hour after I get back from Hallis Hall. Cap will have more on the recap rush hour. And like I said, Felco Football Recap Live, Cap, Olin, Tom Waddle, 8 to 9 p.m. right here on the Recap YouTube channel. I'm Ryan McGuffey. I appreciate you guys. I'll keep on answering the questions, the comments, the concerns, the firing away. I love it all. I'm here for you always. And I'm Ryan McGuffey, and that's that. Take that, as Cap would say, because the Bears have made a move. Shane Waldron out as offensive coordinator.